So I've just gone back from the pre-release for the Dominaria Prerelease, and it was great. Believe me, Dominaria is so far an amazing set, and I highly recommend you guys go do your pre-release or just check out the set because it is very fun and it's really great. The cards there are very fun and interactive, and my pre-release was great. I went 3-1, which was actually very nice. We had 4 rounds. I was actually 3-0 for most of the night until the last one. In finals, it was 3-0 versus 3-0. And I just had a great match. I'm not upset I lost. I am very glad I had this match, and it was just an overall fun experience. However, I do have some tips for some of you guys that may be new to it or maybe just want some more advice and tips on what to expect and or some ideas to go in to a pre-release with. And first off, I'm going to apologize for this glare here because I've tried so much times messing with the light to get rid of it, but I'm just going to cover it up like so it doesn't interfere. Anyways, first and foremost, I'd like to talk about lands because lands are very important if you didn't know in Magic. If you do know that, well, don't forget that because so many times I saw a lot of people get mana screwed, and it happens a lot, especially in the first game when people are first using their decks and get an idea of it. Just know that a good rule of thumb in Magic is to have a third of your deck be lands. And in pre-release, you're usually using 40 card decks, and I really don't advise to go over that because you want consistency, especially when you're having a lot of singletons. Anyways, so 30% of 40 is 12 cards, as opposed to, 30% of 60, which is 18 cards. Land cards, of course. Now, of course, this also depends on your curve. If you have a lot of 1-drops, then 16 was alright. Maybe you want to go 17 or something like that. But if you have higher drops, say like a lot of 4-drops, even 6-drops, then you'd obviously want to go up to a lot higher. You definitely don't want half your deck being lands because then that's how you're going to draw for the game. So if you have a higher curve, I'd say max out at 18, maybe even 19, just if you can. However, if you're playing a deck with 19 lands, then I'd be very surprised if you win. Now, another thing I see a lot of people get mixed up with, not besides the land count, is the lands itself. So in Dominaria, you do have dual lands. I didn't get any dual lands to support my color. I went Bug or Sultai, as they call it now. And this can be solved very easily. You don't have to be a mathematic genius or anything like that to get the right ratio and everything like that. All you had to do was just Google search Mana Fixer, or Mana Calculator actually. And I'll actually leave a link down below in the description. And you'll be taken to this site, which, here it is. You just type in how much lands you're playing. So in this case, I was playing 16. And you just count the symbol for every color. So in the green, let's say I had like 5. And I just go to the forest symbol here, put 5, and it tells me how much land to put in. Obviously, since it's only reading 5 symbols, let's say I have mostly like 17 symbols of blue. So it's telling me the right ratio in between how much lands I should play. And let's say I had 10 swamps. So there's the ratio right there of the lands I want divided. Of course, that will help you make your lands more fixed, if that makes sense. Of course, another thing to always consider is mulliganing. If you have a great opening hand, then it's pretty obvious you'll know when to keep it. However, if let's say you have a bunch of 6-drops and only 1 land, but those 6 cards can definitely win you the game. Now that's too risky to keep. Definitely pitch it and get something that may not be as good as that, but is at least playable. And that's very important. I really want to get that message across to you guys. Now, good thing about being in limited and sealed is everyone's at the same starting grounds. It's not about, someone having a place of these cards or, having more decks based on budget, such as Legacy, Modern, and Standard. Everyone starts out basically at ground zero, with nothing, and you make a deck off what you pull. So now it's deck building based on what can I do as opposed to what do I want to do. So I'm a Boros player by heart. I love aggro, and I really don't like control. I hate playing against control, as most aggro players do. However, my support for aggro was very low, especially in Boros, because I even pulled a Clifftop Retreat. Yes, I would have had a good land to fix me in that. However, I only had 9 creatures in both across the white and red. I could have done artifact creatures, but I need creatures that can be very aggressive. So I just didn't have the right support for it. So what did I have good support in? Well, right away I did notice I had good removal, especially with basically the not the murder here, which in sealed spot removal is very game changing. I had Icy Manipulator, which if you don't watch a lot of Death and Taxes, you know that you will, if you do, I guess, you know that being able to lock down a creature or a land is already good enough, but being able to do that to an artifact creature is even better. And I had 2 of those, which was amazing. I also noticed I had some good card draw effects in black, so right away I knew my black was pretty strong. So I had a lot of good control-ish cards to play. I even had some hand disruption, so I need to support that. Another card great in black was right here, Right of, I'm not going to bother saying that name because I'm going to butcher it. Now this card single-handedly won me the game. Even though it's a 1 of, being able to dig through my deck with card draw effects was very great. And yes, I did get lucky and pull a Karn, and that already made my night. And he is a powerhouse, believe me. A lot of people think just drawing cards isn't going to win you game. When you can fix your draws, that's what wins the game. Now I also looked at my blue and noticed I had a lot of good disruption, as well as a good bombs. Bombs being big threats that are hard to deal with. I had a 4 or 5 hexproof Tortoise, and then a Cloud Rear Sphinx, which not only is a great flyer and blocker, and it's also a great attacker, and it lets me fix my deck when it enters. Let me try to get that out of the glare. Very great card. Now, I'm not telling you guys to go make this deck exactly, because there's no guarantee. In fact, it's going to be very, very rare if you guys get this exact deck. If you do, go ahead and comment below, and I will like you even more. And of course, being blue, I had good counter magic. You know, I had Syncopate, which is an all-star, and Unwind, which is amazing. So I had those cards, but I noticed I really had nothing to do in the first turns. You know, if I got lucky, I could turn 1, and I did actually turn 1 Divest, which is kind of a alright-ish version of Despise. But I'm not going to go into too much comparison, because this is sealed after all. And I really didn't have any early turn interaction, so how do I get out of that? Well, I couldn't say put my aggro creatures in, because then that puts me at half aggro, half control. So there's really this weird option of what do I do here? Do I go this plan or that plan? And when the 2 cards mix together, I get half aggro and half control, which is not a good mix, because I want attacking, but if all I got is, say, just card draw, I'm never gonna get through. What matters if I draw a good card that can win me game, as opposed to just beating. Now, what I did notice is, well, if my first 3 turns I got nothing to do, I might as well ramp, or might as well get some advantage. And green, I had 2 Llanowar Scouts, which are amazing ramp. It reminds me of Sakura Tribe Scout, for anyone that plays Modern. That ability, I was able to, thanks to adding green, and of course, you know, fixing my mana with Mana Calculator, I was able to get Karn out turn 3. I turned 1 Llanowar Elves and turned 2 Powerstone Shard, turn 3 Karn, and the game was mine. Now, another good thing, and another reason why I decided I could go 3-cutter, because 3-cutter is hard to manage, especially in limited. Well, except for cons, because that always helped you out. But anyways, was Navigator's Compass, which not only gave me life to sustain into late game, but also fix my mana in a way. A mediocre mana fixing is better than none. Just keep that in mind as well. So with this deck, I was really able to do very successful. I know I didn't win first place, but I at least had a great fighting chance. So that's just something to consider, is don't think of what I want to do. It's more so what can I do and how can I get there. If you need to look for more support, definitely look for it. Your pool is very limited, but if you make the best of it, it will be its best. There's potential in lots of cards, and very rarely shoot anything down. Obviously, you know, you don't want to play a deck with full 10 drops unless you can support that, which is very interesting if you ask me. So I really hope that this advice helped you out. I'm not saying that play this exact deck. I'm just saying that really consider what cards, especially because these cards will probably never ever be seen together in Standard, which is what this all can be used for. Well, probably maybe the Elves, just because, you know, tribal support, of course. But just always consider, what can I do, how I can get there, and how can I support that, especially with my limited pool. That's all for this video. I may have ranted on a bit, but hopefully this advice helps you out, and you guys can not only 3-1, but you guys can 4-0 and even go beyond that. So that's all for this video. I'm signing out with DankMTG. Until next time, go ahead and stay dank. And if you want to see the packs I open in my next video, probably leave it somewhere around here. So stay dank.